Hey y'all, and welcome back. I'm your girl Mimi, and thank you for tuning into my channel, The Breakdown with Mimi. I would really appreciate it if you continue coming back to show your support. If you happen to like what you hear, please go ahead and do your girl a favor by showing me some love by hitting those like, share, and subscribe buttons along with the notification bell so that we can continue to break down and discuss these shows. If you haven't already viewed my previous videos on season 4 of Ready to Love, please be sure to check them out on my channel. Okay, so let's get right on into episode 7, The Friend Zone. Per usual, the guys meet up with Nephew Tommy at the Gentleman's Lounge to discuss their assignment for the week. Tommy lets them know that since they're beyond the halfway point, each week will get more intense. He says, "Y'all ready for the heat? I'm talking that crawfish boil heat." Now, that didn't really make any sense to me because when I think about crawfish boils being from Louisiana, I'm thinking more along the lines of like what Joelle said. I'm thinking spicy. I mean, the weather is hot here, but I wouldn't really call like the crawfish boils being hot. Anyway, it was just strange. So, Tommy says that it's time to call in the reinforcements, meaning the guys' closest friends, to meet the ladies. Everyone seems down for this. However, this assignment is giving KG a little PTSD because if you remember last season, he was eliminated after he met Naya's friend and things didn't go so well. Lucky for him though, he'll be the one bringing in the friends this time, okay? So let's get into meeting these friends and finding out how they truly feel about the guys' potential matches. We're going to start with Joelle and Vernisha. Joelle invited 3 of his close friends, Precise, Bongo, and Shay, to his house to meet Vernisha. They tell him that they're going to let him know if they notice any red flags. Now, Joelle is boiling some crab legs for everyone while they wait on Vernisha to arrive. And you know what? I can already tell that Shay, Joelle's friend girl, is going to be very outspoken tonight. It's everywhere. It's in the air. And let me just say that as much as I like Joelle, the pink blazer he was wearing was a definite miss for me. If you saw the episode, then you know what I'm talking about. I just feel like he could have been a bit more casual with his attire since he was at home and they were supposed to be eating crabs. A pink blazer was a bit much and I really wanted him to just take it off. And I'm not talking about take it off as in UGK, take it off. I'm talking about take it off as in take it off. It's not working. Okay? Vernisha arrives in her burnt orange bodycon dress showing off all of her curves, just like Joelle likes it. They hug and she lets us know that meeting Joelle's friends is a big step and that it says a lot to her, so she's excited. Joelle introduces her to everyone and Shay goes right in asking Vernisha questions, just like I told y'all. Vernisha talks about Joelle calling all the girls baby, and Vernisha says that because of this, all the girls think he's into them. Then Shay acknowledges that he is super friendly, which Vernisha agrees to, because we have to keep in mind that she now knows that he and Amber had a moment on their date last episode, and she's not really feeling what's supposed to have went down because she doesn't like to share. She then lets them know that there is a clear difference between her and the other ladies when it comes to Joelle, and the ladies understand that. At this point, Shay is shrugging her shoulders like, "Are you sure?" She's messy, y'all. Vernisha says she's found her person, meaning Joelle, and is territorial about him because she plans to be the first couple to get married. She did not come to play. Okay, now why did she say that? Because Joelle's friends tried to imply that she was ready to jump the broom with him today, saying that things went from 0 to 100 real quick. Joelle tells us in his confessional that he needs her to pump her brakes just a little bit and give him time to make sure that she's really the one for him. Then Shay turns around and asks him if he's ready to get married again, considering everything he went through in his last marriage. He says that he definitely wants to get married again if he finds the right woman, but he's really trying to make sure that he crosses all of his T's and dots all of his I's throughout this process so that he can be confident in the woman he selects to be with forever. Vernisha says her goodbyes to everyone and Joelle walks her to her car. She tells us that she thinks things went well with his friends. However, when Joelle gets back inside, Shay lets him know that she thought Vernisha was nice, but she raised a few red flags for her. She tried to imply to Joelle that Vernisha saying that she's territorial was a cause for concern because she's basically admitting that she's clingy or insecure, which wasn't the way that I interpret her to saying it. To me, when she said she's territorial, she was talking about being protective of her man or her relationship because who wants a whole bunch of women trying to get at their man? She was saying, I'm territorial about mine, so I'm not about to be playing no games. That's the way me and Joelle's other friend Bongo took it. But it seemed like Shay had Joelle convinced that it was the other way around, which had me gone. But Joel did tell us that he considered his friends' opinions, but they won't be deciding for him. So maybe he'll snap back into reality once Shay has left the building, and after he takes off that pink blazer, because something is not right with my boy at the moment. Next up, we have KG and Amber. KG told Amber that he'd be in the studio with his friends Ayana Mack and Gavin recording a podcast, so he wanted her to stop by later on and meet them. KG is letting his friends know that Amber is amazing and that she's an assistant DA. Amber walks in and everyone gets up to greet her. Of course, KG is all teeth when she walks in, just smiling from ear to ear, child. Now, did Amber have on a teal long sleeve satin midriff shirt? You know, the ones that tie in the front, and some black satin pants with some red plaid booties on? Yeah, no. Okay, and the fact that she pulled a Kenya Moore and twirled was a trip. Girl, you and Alexis need to stop with these outfits. Oh my God. Anyway, so KG's friend Gavin starts asking Amber how she deals with problems in a relationship, and she replies that she deals with problems head on and she might raise her voice out of passion, but she's not going to curse anyone out. Then Ayana asks her if her family and friends know about KG, and she says that they don't. Clearly, this was a huge deal for Ayana and Gavin because they both looked shocked and were like, wow, why is that? She says that she's waiting to let anyone know what's going on, which makes perfect sense to me because, honestly, who knows what may happen by the end of this process? Amber may decide that KG ain't it for her, and he might do the same. Why gas people up about someone when you don't really know if you're going to walk across the finish line together? Duh. KG acknowledges to us that he too feels the same way and doesn't hold anything against her because up until this particular situation, he hadn't told anyone about his feelings for her as well. There's no reason to let people know things too early because what if it doesn't work out? And I concur. But the real question is, does KG know that she kissed Joelle on their date? They ain't getting into that. Amber lets them know that she came to find her soulmate, so she hopes that she's able to do just that. They ask her where KG is ranked in her book and why, and she proudly tells him that he's her number one, simply because of who they see in front of them. She says it's just natural and she can trust what KG says. They agree that she's absolutely correct about him being a man of his word. KG's friends end up telling Amber that they like her and that she and KG seem to be perfect together. Now, of course, Amber is thrilled by the news that they appear to be a perfect match, and before she leaves, she lets KG know that his friends are now her family. Okay, now we're moving on to the group date with Jason, his friends Latrell and Karanda, Liz, and Kyra. They are all meeting up to play some indoor golf. Now, let me just say that I just feel like one of his friends, Karanda, reminds me of a character off of the movie White Chicks. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't know why she was giving me these vibes because it's definitely a combination of the hair, the face, and the outfit. Okay, but I will say she seems like she is a very sweet young lady. So, I mean, this is neither here nor there. Moving along, okay. Karanda, girl, I'm so sorry, girl. Oh my God. Okay. Ooh. All right, so Jason and his friends are sitting down chatting, and he tells us that he's having a hard time trying to figure out which lady, Liz or Kyra, is the right one for him. He admits that he and Kyra have the strongest chemistry, but that Liz is really growing on him, so that's why he needs to hear the input of his close friends so that he can try to gain some clarity on the situation. Liz walks in looking nice and dressed to impress. Jason greets her with a hug and introduces her to his friends. Then Liz goes up to try her shot at indoor golf, but before that happens, she summons for Jason to come and stand behind her to correct her form. Not the church lady though, right? Okay. While this is happening, in walks Kyra, looking like a breath of fresh air with her white long sleeve cutout crop top with matching thigh-high split skirt. And she was rocking the royal blue and white dunks with the black fanny pack. Yes, Kyra. Okay? Seriously though, both of the ladies look very nice. I just think that Liz's outfit looked like she purposely put it on so that she fit in with Jason's friends, while Kyra's outfit looked like it truly embodied her style. In other words, if Liz had a date with David doing the same thing, I'm positive she wouldn't have worn cutout jeans. That's all I'm saying. Come to think about it, I don't even think I told y'all what Liz had on. I'm sorry. Okay. Liz had on some fitted, cut out blue jeans, okay, and they had slits going all the way up to her upper thigh, a black fitted short sleeve shirt, and black strappy heels. Cute. So when Kyra walks in, she greets everyone and gives Jason a hug. Liz lets us know that she was shocked to see Kyra on the date, so apparently Jason didn't give her a heads up. He may not have given Kyra one either because she told us that she didn't necessarily feel any type of way about Liz being there, but her focus was solely on Jason. Now, let's get to the meat and bones of this little shindig they had, okay? Everyone is sitting down chatting, and Kyra asked Latrell and Corinda how they would describe Jason. Latrell says ambitious and self-driven, and Corinda says resilient. She goes on to say that he's a really stand-up guy and that if he falls down, he always gets back up. I'm sure Liz was thinking about Donnie McClurkin when she said that. Because, we fall down, but we get up. Y'all know the song. I'm telling y'all, Liz was sitting there trying to figure this thing out, okay? When my girl heard that Donnie McClurkin quote, it was definitely a sign, okay? A sign from God linking Jason to her belief system. So that helped out a lot. Thank you, Coranda. In the meantime, Jason is eating up all of the admirations that Coranda was giving out. And then Coranda goes on to ask Kyra if she's an alpha female. And Kyra lets her know that she wants her man to be the man of the house, okay? She's not trying to wear the pants in the relationship. Kyra says she'll stick to wearing the skirts and dresses and let her man do what he's supposed to do as a man, child. Everyone seems to be good with her response, and then Liz says that she just wants her husband to lead the way spiritually. Because typically the woman is known as the spiritual leader of the house, and she wants to be in a different setup where her man takes over that position. Latrell and Coranda look as if they are relating to what Liz said, but their body language speaks volumes to me. These poor people think Liz is off her rocker, talking about spiritual leaders in the household and stuff. Trust me. But Liz isn't done because she goes on to say that she loves Jason's spiritual foundation and that in one of their first conversations, he broke down the book of Daniel, and she was happily surprised. Jason's friend said, "Yep, that sounds like Jason." And Kyra is just sitting there smiling and nodding, peeping game like I did, I'm sure. Jason ain't that spiritual because all he does is lust on these women's physical appearances. I haven't heard him sing not one spiritual hymn, okay, David, nor quote one Bible verse, so he must be doing all of this biblical stuff with Liz when the cameras are off. I'm like, prove it, Liz. Tell him to break Daniel down for us right now. We got time. Ooh, y'all crazy. All right. Okay. So, Liz says her goodbyes to everyone by giving them all hugs because she's a hugger. Okay. But what she doesn't do is give Kyra one. And to be honest, it kind of looked like Kyra stepped out of the way of potentially receiving one. So it was definitely some weird energy there. But Liz lets us know that the date confirmed that Jason is just an upfront and honest man, and she's happy about it. Now that Liz is gone, Latrell and Coranda ask Kyra what her plans are for the next 5 years, and she says that she'd like to be married within 5 years. To which Latrell questioned what she would do if 5 years came and she still wasn't married. Kyra had the perfect answer and basically said, "Look, if we pushing 5 years together, at that point, you know if I'm the one for you or not. So stop playing and either put a ring on it or get on to the left." They all seem to agree with her statement, and Kyra lets us know that she thinks Jason's friends are cool, but she did question whether or not he and Coranda dated in the past. Probably did. She also says that meeting his friends only reaffirmed the fact that Jason is a stand-up guy for her, which is good. She gives a toast to them seeing each other again soon, and Kyra says her goodbyes to everyone. Jason then gets the scoop from his friends on their opinions of the ladies for him. He tells them that he has a really strong connection with Kyra, like really strong. And they interrupt and tell him that they can see that because she's so down to earth. But Liz, she's stiff. I was like, not stiff though, huh? And Jason wrong for sitting up there letting them call Liz out her name like that. Coranda says that she can just feel the Lord's presence in Liz. And I'll admit that I did laugh at that comment. Like, I laugh even to this day. Like, I cannot. Okay. But in all actuality, that is a great characteristic to exude. Okay. I just thought that the way she said it was hilarious and so much like Liz. Because Liz does exude the Lord's presence. Amen. Amen. And look, clearly Jason and his friends thought it was hilarious too because they were nearly in tears about it. They did say that they think Liz is beautiful, but for him, they feel like Kyra is it. Coranda says that she just likes Kyra. Jason tells us he's not surprised by his friends' evaluations and that they are pretty much spot on because he and Kyra have reached a different level with one another. How convenient, right? This is the same dude who was drooling over Liz on their last two meetups, but now he's on another level with Kyra? Yeah. Okay, Jason. Now, let's get into this date with AJ. His two friends, Khalil and Danielle, and Kyra. They all meet up to play some outdoor volleyball. Kyra arrives looking super cute per usual in army green and black high-waisted snakeskin leggings and a matching long sleeve top. Look, y'all, those are two of my favorite colors, so I legit went to order this set after I saw it, but it was sold out. Anywho, they begin to play a game of volleyball, Kyra and AJ against Khalil and Danielle. Let me just say that Kyra and AJ suck at playing volleyball. It definitely looked like they had a lot of fun, and you can see that they have some type of connection between one another, even though AJ admits that their collaboration was off. After playing a few rounds, they all sit down at a table, and Khalil starts talking about how AJ is one of his good friends, and he really cares about him and wants him to be happy. So he asks Kyra to tell them a little bit about herself. She says that she's an attorney, is 34 with no kids. Then Danielle interrupts and asks how she feels about female friends, and Kyra says that she has to feel the situation out first. Then Khalil asks her what was the last book she read. Like, sir, really? All of this questioning over a dude who can't even afford to pay for dinner. Calm down. Kyra tells us that since AJ's friends want to grill her with hard questions, she has some questions for them as well. That's right, girl. So she tells them that some of the ladies are not really convinced that AJ is really ready to love or ready to settle down. So she wants to know if they think he's ready. Danielle looked like her head was on a swivel while Kyra was asking her question, and Khalil immediately says, "Oh, without a doubt. Questionable." Danielle says that AJ is stable in his career now, so he's ready to take on the additional responsibilities that come with being in a loving relationship. Is he now? Khalil says that he can confidently say that AJ is ready to love. I'm thinking, Kyra, you better run out of there because his friends do not seem convincing at all. But AJ had his arm around her chair, and when Kyra got up to leave, he gave her a nice, firm hug and a kiss on the cheek. Amber. And they genuinely looked happy together. Even though I'm not really a supporter of either Jason or AJ for Kyra, I will say that AJ and Kyra's energy seems to be more genuine than hers and Jason's. And we all know that both AJ and Jason have the flirty spirit, so that's not really saying too much, but it's something about Kyra and AJ that's definitely undeniable. AJ lets us know that he feels really good about Kyra and that she easily fit in with his friends. Once Kyra left, Khalil tells AJ that Kyra had her guards up. Well, duh. I'm wondering if AJ told him about his credit card getting denied on their date because at this point, Khalil is getting on my nerves acting like she doesn't have a reason to be concerned about AJ. Ugh. Danielle agrees that she definitely had her guards up, but it seems like she does truly want to be with AJ. Both Danielle and Khalil tell him that Kyra's smiles and especially that hug at the end of the date was super genuine. AJ lets us know that Kyra is his main focus and that he feels good about knocking those guards down with her so their relationship can flourish. Okay, so now we're in the club with Ron, his two friends, Taniqua and Nate, Chrysanthemum and Alexis. Everybody is having a good time, getting lit, and Ron is showing us some more of those infamous dance moves. There's a private section, there's bottles, good music. Hey, if it's up, then it's up, then it's up, then it's stuck, okay? Ron tells us that he's excited to be with his top two and is interested to see what his friends think about them. By the way, his friend Nate closely resembles Dennis, Portia's ex on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, if you close your eyes just a little bit. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that it was Dennis passing for some dude named Nate, or it could have been Dennis's brother Nate. One or the other. I don't know. So Chris had on a long sleeve jumpsuit with cutouts going down the left side, which just so happens to be the side that Ron and Alexis have a clear view of. Now let me set this up mentally for y'all. So the seating arrangements from left to right were Nate, Chris, Ron, Alexis, then Taniqua. So Ron is sitting between both Chris and Alexis. Got it? Okay. Chris is rubbing on Ron's leg and asking if he likes her outfit, and he gives her a big smile and says, "Ah, I like it." While all this rubbing and skinning and grinning is going on between them, Alexis is in her confessional asking somebody what Chris had on as if her outfits were ever on point. Talking about, I know we at a lounge, but why are you wearing a jumpsuit with holes in it? Like we at the strip club. Girl, be quiet and take notes. What is she supposed to be wearing at the club? Maybe she should have picked up one of those satin leopard print dresses that you had on. All I'm saying is Ron is definitely feeling Chris's cat suit, as he called it, and your little leopard has yet to purr, boo-boo. Okay? Trying to talk about fashions when she has no fashion. Please. Alexis makes it clear to us that she disapproves of Chris's outfit, seeing as how they are meeting Ron's friends for the first time. And everyone knows that when you meet someone's friends for the first time in the club, you wear satin leopard dresses, not jumpsuits with cutouts, darling. Alexis, go sit down. Meanwhile, Chris is hyping Nate up, and he takes the world's biggest shot, okay? Nate is happy to be out of the house, y'all. It's time to turn up. Chris tells us that she wasn't expecting to be on a date with Alexis, meeting Ron's friends, so it made things super awkward for her. Taniqua says that Ron is all about the get up and go. He likes to travel, and at the drop of a hat, he'll be out. She wants to know how the ladies feel about his last minute antics. Alexis says that's a good question. She's actually down for it, but she has to make plans because she's a woman of order. Girl, you got a baby, okay? But lucky for Ron, she is blessed to have a village. So she always has someone she can trust who can watch her son. But watch this. Chris says, I'm a flight attendant, so I'm always gone. Just like Ron. And if you mess around and tell him to pick me over little leopard over there, I can get all of us on the flight so we can turn up both domestically and internationally, okay? That girl ain't say that. Nate turns around and asks Chris if she wants kids, and she says, I'm open. Chris knows she does not want kids, child. She says in her confessional that she's never been one to really want kids because she's way too selfish. Alexis tells us that Chris is pretty, but she doesn't do a lot of talking, so all she really is a pretty face. Ouch. So Nate follows up with another question for Chris, asking if she can name any qualities that she's looking for in someone, and she says, fun. I want him to like to do the same things that I like to do. Oh my God, girl. That is not the right answer. Okay? So then he asks what her feelings are around holidays and if she can cook. Everyone starts laughing, and Lord, Chris says in her confessional that she doesn't like interviews and doesn't know why they are asking all these questions because she kind of just wanted to talk and let it be organic. Next, we see Chris telling everyone goodbye because at this point, she is done. Ron basically tells us that this is his and Chris's relationship. They don't talk, but they understand each other. They don't have to say much. Okay, so that's weird and boring. Since Chris has made her exit, Alexis is ready to shine. She tells Nate that she's totally open to having more children, but just one more. So Ron is going to have to figure that out. She says that she needs Ron to play monster trucks and dinosaurs with her son because she's a girl and she can't do it anymore. Then Nate lets out this weird laugh that would have made me get up and dismiss myself from the conversation completely. I would have pulled a Chris, y'all. He went, I promise I'm not playing with y'all. That's exactly how he sounded. Oh my God, Nate, what was that? A walrus? I'm sorry, I had to collect myself. Okay. Okay. Tanika asks Alexis how she feels about female friends, and she says that it really doesn't bother her because she's a pretty secure woman. Now, I don't know if I truly believe that. Alexis looked like she would pop off on Ron if he entertained any other women, but she says that her answers were thoughtful and real. So, okay, if you say so. Alexis gets up and says her goodbyes to Nate and Taniqua. Then she turns around and says, "And you, boo, don't forget who your number one is, all right?" As she's hugging Ron. She says that there really is no competition between her and Chris because she has this in the bag. Girl, bye. Be number one at getting gone. How about that? Now it's time for Ron's friends to give him their opinions on the ladies. And don't we already know that Chris has failed this assignment? Tanika says that she likes Alexis because she took control and there was no lack of confidence. She says that she thinks Ron needs that because he's so social. Nate says he likes Alexis too, and we all heard that judging by that laugh. Ron tells them that Chris is the girl version of him. His friends disagree and say that if he wants to advance into something he's not used to having, they think it's Alexis. Ron tells us that the feedback from his friends left him very torn, so he's just going to self-eliminate. Don't toy with us, Ron. The next date is with David, his two friends Micah and Brittany, and Liz. David is catching them up on Liz before she gets there. He tells them that she's never been married but wants to be, doesn't have kids but wants them. Micah is like, "So, what is you saying? Is she crazy?" David laughs and says, "No, clown, she not crazy." And they start laughing. Then in walks Liz, and this is what I was telling y'all when she was on that date with Kyra and Jason. Liz had on a sleeveless black and gold jumpsuit, so the top half was mainly gold and the bottom was all black. She looked very regal, just beautiful, okay? She was dressed to impress David's friends, if you get what I'm saying. But this felt like it was more for speed. All she was missing was the jacket, and she would have been ready to go to Pastor's Appreciation Service, child, okay? She probably would have had to put on one of those prayer cloths over her chest before she went in, because, the girls was out. But y'all picking up what I'm putting down. She greets everyone and gives David a hug. He gives her a kiss on the cheek and tells her that she looks good. She know it. Okay, thank you, though. He introduces her to his friends, and they dig right in. Brittany asks her what she feels is necessary in order for her to be successful in the marriage that she's looking for. And Liz says great communication and operating in grace with one another. Micah asks why she thinks she's not married right now. And Liz lets them know that she hasn't been in many relationships, but she really believes that this is her time to do that, and she's ready to find her life partner. As she says that, David tells us about how Liz called him the same night that she went on the date with Jason when he kept kissing her because she didn't want him to hear the story from anywhere else. He said that she told him that even though Jason was giving her all those tender kisses, her heart is still with him and he's her number one. And then it happens. Jealousy has reared its ugly green head because David lets us know that even though that might be the case for Liz, he's still feeling some type of way about her and Jason kissing. So he decides to show his tail by telling her in front of his friends that he wants to make sure that he's taking his time and not jumping into anything. What? He then says that he followed his heart, but now he's trying to use a little bit more wisdom. And when you factor in all of those things, it definitely slows things down a bit for him. Baby, if looks could kill, David would have been dead. Because Liz was staring so deep into his soul that I just knew it was about to go down, okay? This man tells us that he doesn't feel like he knows enough about Liz since he found out that she and Jason kissed. David, get over yourself, okay? This is a dating show. And unlike you, Liz is weighing her options. And guess what? Liz is your only one, crazy. Why are you burning a bridge that could get you eliminated because Liz is the only one checking for you? So tread lightly, sir, with your emotional self. Ugh. Anyway, Liz asked Micah and Brittany if they feel like David is ready to love again, considering everything he's been through in his past. Brittany says that she definitely thinks he's ready for it. Liz says that's good. Then Brittany turns it around on Liz and asks her what she thinks about him being ready to love, and she says that she does pick up that he's taking his time. And Brittany asks if she's okay with that. Liz says she's okay with him taking his time, but baby girl, how much more time are we talking? Okay? No, she says that she would honestly like more consistency with David. She tells us that she has given enough grace, patience, and benefit of the doubt to him, so he pretty much needs to man up and claim his prize if he wants it. A decision must be made, and soon. Liz gracefully dismisses herself from the table, and David gets up to walk her out. In her confessional, she lets us know that David's indecisiveness is frustrating because he knows if he wants to be with her or not, and she doesn't appreciate him trying to string her along and play with her heart this far along in the process. And it was at that point that I knew David had messed up big time. His friends let him know that Liz's energy was super sweet and that she really seems to like him. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, though. David tells them that he doesn't know. He's just a little slower paced when it comes to making a decision that she's his person or whatever. Brittany asks him if he feels like Liz is receptive to the fact that he wants to take his sweet time when the show is not everlasting. Okay, so maybe she didn't ask it like that. But this fool says, I really don't know, but I don't ever want to jump into something and then I'm just like, oh wait, is that really what I wanted? Don't get me wrong, this mode of thinking is understandable, but in David's situation, it's very stupid. Okay? Because he's deciding to play like he's not trying to rush into anything solely because he found out about the kiss and for no other reason at all. He's trying to punish Liz for doing what she's supposed to be doing without recognizing that he's really giving himself the ultimate punishment. Hello? Most people would have heard about the kiss and tried to step their game up, but no, not David. He hears about the kiss and decides to push the only woman who has shown any genuine interest in him since day one away. Oh my God. Make it make sense. Talk about needing some divine intervention. I'm done. Thankfully, we are at the last and final date. However, this isn't a date amongst friends. No, this is a date that Jason invited Kyra on to a private art gallery for a private viewing so that they can get some one-on-one time together. Jason tells us that after hearing his friend's input on the ladies, he just wants to poke at the bear a little bit and see what he and Kyra can be and if there's an intimate connection between the two of them. Whatever, Jason. We know you just want to suck some more face, okay? When Kyra arrives, she's looking nice in her LBD, or little black dress, and Jason seems to be dressed for the occasion as well in his burgundy slacks and light pink long sleeve collared button down. They look very after five-ish. He brought Kyra 3 red roses, which she appreciated, gave her a hug, and told her that she looks nice. He grabs her hand and they walk inside where he has created a walkway of rose petals throughout the gallery, which clearly explains why he only gave Kyra 3 red roses. That's all that was left after this walkway. Then he tells us that he is romantic for the right woman, and if she comes at him correct, he will run her bath water, soak her body, rub her body, clean her body, dry her body, lotion her body, clothe her body. Okay, we get it, Jason. You're that dude, but you need to lay off the Meg the Stallion, okay? So they walk over to a table he prepared with a bottle of champagne, and as he pours her a glass, he asks her how her day is going. And she says it's great now, and she can't even remember what happened earlier today thanks to all of this. Jason tells us that Kyra deserves all of this attention. She deserves for someone to reserve something for her, and he wanted to be that guy to do that for her. They get to walking around the gallery and admiring all of the paintings. Kyra spots one that is very abstract and mysterious, with all of the reds and golds and blacks and whites going around in a circular pattern. She says she likes the painting because to her, it relates to love, with its many different colors, and also in love, there is no formula. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it all comes together. And it may look like a lot, but it all comes together beautifully. Well, all right, Kyra girl, you read that painting down. 2 snaps and a twirl for you, girl, because that was deep. Jason said, and you got all of that from this? Look at you. Kyra tells us that Jason gives her butterflies like they are two little high school kids, and she likes that because it feels good. Now let's see what Jason is going to pick out. Of course, he chooses the most sexual piece of art in the gallery, a picture of a man and a woman making love to each other because anything else would be uncivilized. He says, I like this one. Kyra looks at the painting and is like, oh, okay, yep, I'm sure you do. You're nasty. They laugh and decide to sit down and talk. Jason tells her that they definitely hit it off quickly due to their matching personalities. He meant to say due to her walking in wearing that tight-fitting green dress, but that's okay. We know. He then goes on to tell her that she has a poise about her, and then she listens and gives a solution. And he loves that about her because he needs that in his life. He needs someone to be his mama, but who ain't his mama in his life, basically, is what I heard. Okay. Ooh. Kyra says thank you and then asks him if he sees a future with her. He responds, to be very honest with you, absolutely. I like you. A whole lot. And they both laugh. He says that he appreciates her a lot, and here we go with the lean in for a kiss. Kyra offers him her cheek, and he says, and she turns to kiss him on the lips. After they kiss, he tells her that she has soft lips, and they both bust out laughing. Then they go back in for another one. Jason tells us in his confessional that he hopes that what they have can turn into a relationship, and that he doesn't even want to look anywhere else. So bye, Liz. Once he and Kyra come back up for some air, he tells her that she has a good spirit about her and asks where she's been all his life. She smiles and says, you know, just floating around. He tells her that she should have floated his way a long time ago. Kyra tells us that things are going great with Jason. He's a sweetheart and a gentleman, and it feels good. But her and AJ's connection is pretty strong, so she's definitely confused. So it looks like Kyra made good on her promise to come for everything Liz was saying at the Ladies Lounge last episode, because it looks like both Jason and AJ now have Kyra as their number one and maybe only. This is getting good, especially since Liz and David now have cracks in their foundation, and it seems like AJ isn't the least bit interested in Alexis like he made it seem to her on his elimination date last episode. I mean, she didn't even get a date with his friends, so I thought that spoke volumes. We'll see how it all plays out, but first, let's get to this gentleman's lounge to see who the men are thinking about sending home. So all the men arrive at the gentleman's lounge for deliberations. Of course, they fix a much-needed beverage, compliments of Seagrams. KG says he definitely needs a drink because he feels like it's about to go down. Jason tells us that deliberation time never has him with a good feeling because the last thing he wants to see is another woman going home, especially someone that you're connecting with. Listen, Jason is like, I'm trying to eliminate my competition, so can I send one of these dudes home instead? Hey, AJ. Once everyone is seated, nephew Tommy walks in and greets the guys and gets the show rolling. Tommy tells them that he wants to get straight into it and hear about their dates. He starts with Joel and he tells everyone that he invited some of his friends from New Orleans over to meet Vernisha. He says that some of the things that concern him a little bit happen to come up in this date. Tommy asks him what Shay, his friend girl, said after Vernisha left. And he says that she said Vernisha might be a little too clingy too fast. He tells us that he doesn't know if it's Vernisha being clingy or territorial, but it kind of rubbed him wrong, and he doesn't know where he is with that right now. Tommy tries to snap him back into reality by confirming that he and Vernisha do have a good connection and that in any relationship you're going to have bumps in the road. He agrees, but still has this confused look on his face. At this point, Joelle is about to make me mad because I'm still trying to figure out how you go halfway through the show with no issues at all, yet this week you have an issue so big that it's making you rethink your entire connection that you made with Vernisha. Get it together, Joelle, because I can only do so much for you, my guy. You are my favorite, but I have to call a spade a spade. Next up is Jason. He tells everyone that he introduced his friends to Kyra and Liz, and that Kyra asked questions about him, which obviously meant a lot to him because tears start rolling down his face in front of the guys. Tommy was like, it's okay. Take your time. Let him use you. Jason goes on to say that here he has two beautiful women who are trying to get to know him, and he's hearing them say all of these good things about him. But it's very unfamiliar for him to actually witness people giving him compliments, so that meant a lot to him. He tells us that he comes from a background where encouragement is scarce. Now, that made me sad, and regardless of how much I've said that Jason is a scumbucket, It actually does hurt me to hear that he's not used to people saying nice things about him or receiving compliments. This just might play into why he acts the way he does, though. It seems to me like Jason is searching for approval, acceptance, and appreciation. Three things that he failed to receive throughout his life. And now I'm over here sounding like AJ with all of his F words. Jesus. He said that the ladies showing a genuine interest in him, coupled with his friends going to bat for him, really made him emotional. Then he goes on to tell the men that his friends thought that Kyra was the best fit for him. Tommy asks if they like Liz, and he says yes, they like Liz, but they said that she was stiff. The look on David's face at this point was a whole mood. Tommy says, it's funny how you say she's stiff here, but at the beginning, Jason interrupts and says, that's what I'm saying. For me, she's open. But for some odd reason, my friends aren't getting that. Tommy comprehends what he's saying and moves on to Ron. Ron says that he had Chrysanthemum and Alexis meet his friends and he was banking on his friends to do their jobs. Tommy asks if they did and he says they took it real serious. He tells them that his friend said if he wants to have fun and continue traveling, then Chris is his girl. But if he wants to be on that Barack and Michelle Obama next level thing, then Alexis is the one who could take him there. Boy, bye. Okay? Stop comparing you and Alexis to Barack and Michelle. I'm so tired of people doing that. Leave Barack and Michelle alone. Please. Tommy then asks Ron if he's trying to have fun or if he's looking for something long-lasting. Ron hesitates to answer, and Tommy asks the men to speak up. If this process ended right now, who is the one woman you're going home with? A lot of drinks are being thrown back on this question, and at this point, I am convinced that the gentleman's lounge is infested with gnats. Yep, I know that was real random, but I don't know if y'all saw it, but I was sitting there listening to everyone speak their piece and kept wondering if it was the bright lighting showing little particles floating around or if those were really gnats. And lo and behold, one flew by Tommy's head, Joel's head, Jason's head. Everyone had a scene with a gnat in it. I was about to start swatting at my own ears trying to get that gnat away. I'm gonna need On to take care of that little situation because that is not right. Get it together, On. Okay, so AJ speaks up and says Kyra would be the one that he chose if the process ended today. We expected that, so okay. Tommy calls on Joel and he acts like he doesn't want to say, but he takes his time and says, Kyra. Huh? Didn't he mean to say Vernisha? I mean, I'd even give him Amber, but Kyra? KG says that he was flabbergasted, as was everyone else witnessing this foolishness. He says, Vernisha been your number one this whole time. What is you doing, baby? Tommy says, I've never heard you talk about Kyra, and you chose her over Vernisha? What made that switch like that? Yes, Joel, please tell. He basically says that he's starting to feel like Vernisha is getting to be a little bit controlling. Then he lets us know that the two of them had a little miscommunication on the phone last night, and it made him feel away. So that's really why he said Kyra. He tells the guys that he and Kyra do have good conversations, but he's just in a strange spot with Vernisha right now. So he decided to choose Kyra because of their good conversations and basically to be spiteful towards Vernisha. He lets them know that he definitely needs to speak with her about his concerns and try to work it out because he and Vernisha do have a real connection, and she's still his baby at the end of the day. See? I knew it was something because saying Kyra didn't make sense for Joel, who's been riding for Vernisha this whole time. So I was a little bit relieved to know there was a reason for that happening. However, I do not respect the move he made because it shows that when he's mad with someone or in his feelings about something, he can be very hurtful and show no loyalty towards that person. It just goes away. And I'm not with that because like Tommy said, every relationship is going to have its bumps in the roads. But if you care about someone, you figure out a way to iron those things out, especially when you are supposed to be ready to love. So Joel has left a sour spot in my mouth with this episode, and I'm going to need him to get it together quickly. But I will say that seeing as how this little communication took place the night before deliberations, I can see why his feelings were as strong as they were. He shouldn't have let that take over his true feelings, though. That's the messed up part. Okay, so Tommy asked David about who he'd choose, and he says, so I gotta go home with one today? The men start laughing, and he clarifies that he's not trying to say he wants to go home with multiple women. He just wants to make sure that that's what Tommy said. Tommy says, you have to give me one. This fool looks away then grabs AJ and Joel's shoulders because he's sitting in between them and has the nerve to say, well, we all going home with Kyra. Okay. Is this happening? Jason looks pissed. He says in his confessional, what the hell are you dudes doing, bro? Do you not know that I'm talking to this woman, getting serious with this woman, and she's reciprocating back? I mean, we was kissing, bro. This ain't no peck, man. We was kissing. Well, we know why David decides to pull this stunt, right? It's because he's a dum-dum and is mad at Liz for all of the kissing that you did with her, Jason. So he's trying to be vindictive and not say Liz, even though it could very well bite him in the butt later on. Just ridiculous. All of the games these men are playing. Tommy asks Ron who is his person, and he quickly says that he's going to go with Alexis. Thank God. Then he asks KG, and he easily says Amber. Then Tommy asks Jason, and he says Kyra, straight up. In David's confessional, he asks, so how many connections does Kyra actually have, and how much time in the day does she have if she has all of these connections? As if he didn't just claim to have one with her. That just further proves that you have no clue about the girl and how she's moving because you don't even know who she's connecting with, crazy. He gets on my nerves. Oof. Tommy reiterates that 4 men vouched for Kyra, so their dates obviously gave them something to think about. He said that some connections were solidified and some new questions were revealed. Then he asks who their weakest connections are with, and Ron says Liz. AJ says Liz. David goes on this tangent saying that Liz is a good vessel and that she called him the night that her and Jason kissed, which was a relief to Jason, and said, I did this, but David, I'm sorry. My heart is with you. And that's what's weighing on him. So I'm assuming that his no answer meant he's voting Liz into the bottom today. Get over yourself, David. Joelle says it's chrysanthemum for him because she told him straight up that she's concerned about getting serious with him because he spends a lot of time with his kids, so she doesn't know if he'll have any time for her. Oh my God, that girl is a whole trip. Who says that? KG jumps in and says she don't want nobody else to have nothing going on. She wants everything to be about her. Jason says that when he tries to reach out to her by texting her or calling her, it's a slow response. Turns out that all the guys have experienced this behavior from Chris. Well, everyone but Ron, because he says, well, I get a response to my calls. Tommy asks KG if he thinks that Chris is open to a relationship, and KG says, Chrysanthemum is not available. Ron pops off and says she might not be available to KG, because at this point, he is not about to let these people talk about his number 2, okay? He tells Tommy that he thinks Chris is ready for a relationship because he has a connection with her and she picks up his phone calls. KG gives this look like, that's exactly what we're saying, okay? Ron goes on to tell us, I felt like KG was trying to throw Chrysanthemum under the bus because she wasn't giving him any play. He's a niche market guy that probably needs a niche market girl, and that ain't who Chrysanthemum is. Oh, well, burn. Tell us how you really feel. But I bet you won't say it to his face. I bet you won't. I bet you won't. It's so funny that he's trying to ride this hard for her when she's not even his number 1. It's like, dude, she told you that she's only into you. The other guys are proving that by saying that she's not trying to make a connection with them. Yet you still have her ranked as your number 2. If you care so much about her, pick her. Oh my God. So now the men have to decide who their bottom 2 ladies are and who is going to invite them on their elimination date. I don't think it'll be a shocker. Okay, so I'm going to try and make this part quick because this video is way too long for all of the madness it entails. So, let's get into it. As you probably guessed, Liz and Chrysanthemum were selected as the bottom 2 women for the men this week. Ron is meeting up with Liz for her elimination date, and KG is meeting up with Chris for hers. First up is Liz. Now, Liz is no dummy, so she knows that she and Ron don't have an intimate connection, and she figures that she's probably going to be told that she's in the bottom this week. When she arrives at the restaurant, Ron greets her with a hug, and they sit down to chat. This should be a pain of a conversation to have because Ron never seems to spit out his words and just get to the point to me, but that's a conversation for another day. So Ron lets her know that they had deliberations today and that a few of the guys had some concerns that maybe who is really Liz? Is she a little stiff? See what I'm saying? That doesn't even make sense. Like, who sent him to do this? I bet it was David. And he didn't have to bring up the stiff comment because the only people who called her stiff were Jason's friends, and they are not a part of the group, so that was foul. I don't like the way Ron is trying to do my girl, but her face is saying, you better be glad I'm saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost filled, but don't push it. After spitting out some more ridiculous things, he finally tries his hand at getting to the point by saying, we're in the trenches right now, and the guys are putting themselves 100% out there. I can vouch for that. And because of that, I just want to let you know that the guys have kind of felt that. Spit it out, Ron. Jesus. Liz admits that Ron is looking very scared to tell her whatever it is that he's trying to say, so she's worried that she's about to be eliminated for sure. He goes on to say, I just want to let you know that you are still ready to love. We just want to see more sides of you, more layers. And blah, 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 blah. So anyway, Liz can breathe. She's not being eliminated and lives to fight another week. All I'm going to say is this better be the last time they send Ron to do this job because that was pure torture for everyone involved. Meanwhile, KG is meeting up with Chrysanthemum to drink a little wine and champagne, and when she walks in, he totally picks up on her energy. He gives her a hug and tells her that she smells amazing, and she says, I try. He asks what scent she is wearing, and she says, a secret. KG says, oh, okay. KG is too funny. It turns out that Chris has already peeped game on what this date is all about, in her mind. She says that KG is clearly there to give her a little pep talk. You know, do this, you need to work on that. So, yeah. After KG says that he likes her 50 million times and they go back and forth about it, he tells her that during deliberations, the guys brought up the fact that they don't like that she takes so long to reply back to their calls and text messages. To which Chris responds, oh, y'all don't like y'all own medicine when it comes back to ya. Clueless. The look on KG's face? Priceless. She goes on to say, I've just been accustomed to a certain lifestyle that I just, oops. What? He says, well, after that, we sat and we decided that you are not ready to love. She says, okay. KG says that he feels that she's open to it, but at this moment, it seems as if her actions show different. She laughs and KG tells us that Chris's downfall was the fact that she wants it to be all about her, and that's a red flag. They get up and he asks her for a hug, a real one, and she says, I guess. They hug and KG embraces her like he never wants her to leave his arms. Amber, are you peeping this? Then, after 20 minutes goes by, Chris tells him to get off her because she doesn't want the men's energy on her. She tells us that the men are in their feelings and they can't take what they dish. She can't believe that her not texting them back is what made them get rid of her. And since that's the case, then she doesn't need to be with them because that's a red flag for sure. She says that she's mad at Ron and AJ because they were supposed to have her back, and at least one of them obviously didn't. She says that she's going to find out who the disloyal person was. Did anybody know that AJ and Chris had a thing going on? Well, she's gone, so I guess it really doesn't matter anymore, right? And the poor thing is still clueless. I honestly think that she and Ron would have made a great couple. Their relationship would have been like watching paint dry. So yeah. Well, that's going to be all for episode 7, The Friend Zone. Let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments, as well as what your thoughts are regarding Chrysanthemum's elimination. Thanks again for tuning in, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video for me. I'll be back with another breakdown on Season 4, Episodes 8 and 9 of Ready to Love in a few. Talk to y'all later. Bye.